So I'm at Millburn Cemetery. I was here probably like a week ago. But then a few minutes after I started recording, a funeral procession came in. So I decided I'd just leave and just come back another time. Okay, but here's the first entrance, which I've never seen open, except for that little human door on the left, you can see. But there's no actual like headstones right here. But you can see we've got this stone going up, because this was like the original path to like drive up or take a horse-drawn wagon up, you know. Because this is the older part of the cemetery over here, though. See, a lot of the fences are falling over. Some of them are in the trees now. I don't think there's any like right here, but like these trees would grow and would just grow around the fencing. Yeah. If I see some later, I'll show you exactly what I mean. Okay, but anyway, so there's 4 entrances here. That's the first one, which does not have a paved path, and I've never seen this one open. The second one I always park by, but I've never seen that one open either. It's always the third one that's open. The fourth one doesn't have any gates though. You can see it starts to get paved right by the second one. So this is from like the mid 1800s. The cemetery was just a little bit down the road, but then a farmer donated his land or sold his land or something to start this cemetery. And it was also used as an underground railroad. This was one of the places that they would stop at. (1877 to 1881). So I feel like majority of the headstones on this section are all from the 1800s and early 18. They are all from the 1800s and earlier 1900s. That's what I meant to say. See some of them falling over. It's not even. There's like a lot of moss here now. I feel like there are a few newer headstones in this section, but few and far between because they're mostly over there. (1866 or 1883). I do know this front fencing is new as of, I want to say, the 80s. So do you know that in 1887, if I remember correctly, there were someone was 9 years old, 10 months, and 5 years and 7 months. But in 1887, if I remember correctly, there was a group of people who got arrested for grave robbing here. (1851, 1859). And born in the 1860s. But I do find it a little odd though that they have nothing in this little section right here. Strange. That's the name. But twins. Twins died April 20th, 1849. (1876, 1877, 1895 to 1936). So going with saying that there's some newer graves in this section, even though this is the old part of the cemetery. Here we got 1912 to 1999, and then 1914 to 2013. And then here we got, I don't know, 1991 and 1976. Although they're all huge, so I'm guessing that they are descendants of these people who were from the 1800s and past in the early 1900s. Yeah, 1900s. So I'm sure that's just like a family section. So that's why you see newer ones over here. (1959), he was in World War II. Oh, World War I, sorry. I'm making a lot of mistakes today. 1890 to 1980. So she was born in 1879, but there's no date of death here. Humphrey. (1857, 1921). That's World War I, 1896 to 1970. Can't really read what it says, but I got a nice little candle, looks like. Nice little lamb, I believe, is in here. This one broke and fell over. (1856 or 1898), I believe it says. John Hannah Bain. Oh, John and Hannah. Okay. 1831 to 1883. 1831 to 1893. So I'm guessing John was the first date, Hannah's the second one. Lived 10 more years than him. So they don't have the years that they were born, just somewhere in the 1800s. But Henry died in 1846 and Anne in 1897. He lived 51 years more than he did. 1893. And this one's Betty. It looks like December 27th, 1874. 73 years, it looks like. Oh, and then John was February 11th, 1875 at 72 years. John Thane, 1767 to 1851. Another Thane, 1857 at 55 years. Abner Spafford, 1836 or 1887. Matilda Spafford, 1842 to 1917. Then we got the son. Got two bottles of that. Alfred G. Spafford, 1870 to 1926. Saw this cool little rock. I wonder if this was like for some headstone and just broke off, or I'm not sure. Yeah, see, here's some newer ones as well. So Anne from 1916 to 2008. Raymond, who looks like is also 1916 to 1998. And then Rosemary, 1919 to 1993. So that's the wife of William from 1918 to 1994, who was in World War II. So I'm guessing this book was supposed to be on top of here, but just broke off. (1827 to 1880, 1836 to 1912, 1871 to 1872. So that was just a little kid. 1885 to 1891. It's another kid. 1863 to 1925. So we had John, who was born, who was alive from 1850 to 1850. Abraham Griggs. So I'm guessing John might have been the son or possibly even grandson of Abraham and Hannah. But Abraham is from 1782 to 1859. Hannah from 1786 to 1852. You see, most of these are older headstones, but obviously there's some where one was 2013, so they're not all the ones over here. one broke a few times, looks like. And so did this one. $18.85, $18.81. $18.17 or $18.03 is one of the dates. And this is Smith right here. Here's the second gate, which is always closed. I always just pull in over here somewhere so I'm out of the way if someone comes. Because I think now we're starting to get to the newer section. Let's go see these really quick. So we got these two buildings over here. Oh, only 9 years old. Lillian. There's another Lillian. So we have these two buildings over here. The one on the right was the bathrooms. And then the one left was the pump house. Oh, the like well house. And then we got a thing just giving information such as the gate restoration, talking about the Underground Railroad. There's some Civil War veterans in here. So yeah. Remember back on the 4th of July in last year in 2019, I was here for a little while and I met this really nice older lady who was here to visit her husband, and she was just telling about stories about him, and then she started talking about her grandchildren. It was nice. What's see here? Look, this one's starting to be grown into the tree. The trees growing around it. Got a really nice stream back here. Got the mom, Uncle Bill, mommy, and grandpa. World War II. Yeah. Looks like this headstone is just completely missing. Looks like this is just the base, I believe. I'm still seeing dates from the 1800s. Like the most recent one here was Margaret in 1893. Okay. 2009. This looks like it's definitely a newer headstone. He was born in 1841, passed in 1863. I'm guessing that he died in battle. And it looks like he was from Georgia as well. Chickamauga. I'm not sure if I said that right. I doubt I did. (1858) or 1878, 1874 to 1875 for both of the kids. I'm guessing they were twins and possibly got sick, maybe. Then just 1878, 1860 to 1862. That's quite a few really young people there. (1851) at 18 years old. Willie and Anna, infants, 1896. 1888 or 1889 for Isabel, then George just 1887, 1994 to 1924. Just OST. That's cool. They put like that plate in the rock. Then we have ART and EWT. 1897 and 1922, Mary Bay Adams. 1888 to 1908, 1879 to 1920. Tommy Potter, 1927. Elizabeth Glenn Potter, 1911. Okay, so what we got? Okay, so I'm guessing these were the grandparents, because Lyman passed in 1919, Lita in 1913. I mean, they were alive when Elizabeth was born, so they could be their parent. But Tommy, I'm guessing, is from Harold and Florence, because Florence passed in 1964, and then Harold in 1941. Looks like one of them could have been born young enough to be Lida and Lyman's kids. Then we got more Potters over here. W.M. Merrill Lewin, son, only lived to be 5 days old in 1949. March 11th to May 5th, 1909. Charles R. Porter, looks like. Then we got baby George M. Hughes, 1926. Okay, see here are the third gates, you can see that they are open. I've never seen the ones over here closed. I've never seen the ones over there open. (1908 to 1922). (1953 to 1978). Was in Vietnam. They both passed in 2001. Here we got 1914 to 1917. (1931 to 1952). Looks like he was a kid of Julia and Herman. I'm guessing one of these are the, or maybe even both, the kids of these two people over here. May 31st, 2019. That's definitely really recent. Not even a year ago. 1940 to 1940, 1942 to 1942. They're babies of Richard and Virginia Kennedy. Doolittle. Our Littlest Angels, James Richard Doss Salt, September 4th through 6th, 1949, and his two brothers, 1952 and 1955. Infant son, March 16th, 1952. (1970 to 1993). (1944 to 2003). 1907 to 1992, and then 1908 to 1994. (1958 to 1963). Okay, so this is what I'm kind of thinking here. I'm going to cut this video out here, make this Millburn Cemetery Part 1, and then I'm going to finish the rest of the cemetery. Just still got a little bit to go this way, and then all the way over there, and then all the way back towards those buildings on that side of the road. So I will see you guys in part 2.